Hi everyone, my name's Mark Deere, and today I wanted to talk about Black Friday sales, but not just Black Friday, obviously the holiday sales in general. And in relation to that, I wanted to talk about FOMO, fear of missing out, and scarcity mindset and scarcity sales tactics. It's funny because for years and years, I mean, Black Friday, the idea of it has grown, especially here in Australia. It's probably been in the United States a lot longer than it has been here, but we've certainly gotten it over the years. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Week, holiday sales, all those things. And they've definitely been a thing. When I was a kid, it used to be Boxing Day sales. That's when the biggest sales of the year happened, but somewhere along the lines in the last probably decade or so, Black Friday became a thing, maybe more than that. I remember vividly Stu Mashwich, who wrote the DB Rebels Guide. He tweeted years ago, I'm talking maybe 2007 or 8, like early days Twitter, or maybe it was a bit later than that, I can't remember, but he tweeted that, that something like, you don't need to buy the thing you see on sale today, better off just buying what you need when you need it, And I can't remember exactly, but then for years after that, he would retweet this tweet. Every year around Black Friday, he would retweet the tweet. Because it's funny how you get to this sale. Now I'm talking from experience. I talked in my last video about how I had a couple of days off, and I spent the whole time in turmoil because Black Friday sales coming up, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to need this thing this year, so I need to get everything I'm going to need this year now while it's like half price, or 40% off, or 30% off, or whatever percent off. And I bought a bunch of stuff. I'm excited about the things I bought, like some camera gear. Not crazy, like support gear, no, I haven't bought those yet. I'm going to buy handrails so I can go handheld for a short film I want to shoot. I bought a metal thing to go on my rig for the eyepiece, like stupid stuff like that, like stuff nobody would think about, but that is on special, and I've wanted for a really long time, and I bought it. I also bought a copy of Moho. I don't know if you know Moho Pro. It's like an animation software, and I've been doing animation a long time, and I've talked about on these videos how my childhood dream was to be a cartoonist or work on animated shows. I didn't know that was a job, but make cartoons. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. And so yeah, at uni we used Adobe Flash, or Adobe Animate it's called now. I used Flash for a long time. First used it in 2000 and used it a lot over the years. There were other software as well. I did a bit of 3D work, so I worked on a lot of 3D animation packages. Then there are other open source ones. I've used OpenTunes and Tahoma and Synfig, and I used, it used to be called Toon Boom Studio, I think. I used that back before Toon Boom Harmony was a thing, so I've used Toon Boom. Plenty of animation software, but I'd never used Moho. I think it used to be called something like Anime Studio back in the day. But yeah, so I bought Moho Pro 14 in part because my daughter has started doing a lot of animation stuff, and I taught her some Tahoma 2D, sort of like OpenTunes. But it was just crashing so much, and I love and endorse open source software. I could do a whole channel dedicated to talking about open source software. But yeah, rather than trying to troubleshoot on her old laptop, getting that software working, because it was probably just underpowered, and that's why it was crashing. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to buy Moho, and she can use Moho, and I'll learn it for fun as well. We'll learn it together, it'll be like a dad-daughter fun activity to do together. Because we've worked on filmmaking stuff together, but it'll be fun to do that. We've also started working on Candice's audiobook together, so she's great and works on a lot of creative projects, amazing artist. She's cranked out so many comics, so I bought Moho, and that was really expensive. I bought a lot of expensive software over the years. I bought, the Adobe Creative Suite back in the day when it was like $3,500–4,000, before subscriptions. So, when you need something, you need it, but do I need this? I could use Blender, I could use, OpenTunes or Tahoma. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to support Moho because it's owned by a smaller company now. They acquired it a couple of years ago, and, I think they deserve support. They're doing a good job. So I'm excited. I'm going to give it a play. But yeah, that was like $500–600. Crazy money for me. I'm on leave from work. I shouldn't probably be spending $600 on an piece of animation software. And I bought a tutorial thing too. Anyway, I was like, well, while it's on special, And yeah, every time I buy anything in Black Friday, I'm always thinking of Stu. Last year in Black Friday, I don't think I bought anything. But this year, I had plans to buy, I bought a battery for the camera too. That was like $500. So it's like, oh my God, I just spent $1,000 on a battery and a piece of animation software, which is just crazy, But as I said, I'm trying to have more of an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset. So I'm like, it's okay. I can buy these things. It's great. Anyway, we won't talk about that today. Just wanted to talk about, a lot of people use it as a sales tactic. Like, this is available for a limited time. You've got to get in by this time. And when the sale's this is our biggest sale of the year. So, But I think what Stu said was right. When there's never a sale, you buy something because you need it, So I think ultimately you probably end up spending less money. Just buy the battery when you need it. Okay, maybe it's $680 or $700 or whatever, but just buy it when you need it. Well, I've needed it for a year. That's why I bought it. See, There's things I've had on my list to buy for a year, and while they're on sale, I'm buying them. And I think that's a smart way to approach it. But you don't want it to take up too much time. I'm looking at some web plugins and I'm like, oh, you know, how do you make a decision which plugin to buy? But they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars, these plugins. And I just want to make sure I want them before I get them. But it's like you just get caught doing too much research. Whereas if there was no Black Friday, I probably wouldn't have done the research yet, you know, like, because I know I'll need them this year, but I don't need them right now. So yeah, I think Black Friday is good because you get sales and it's interesting. And as I say, in Australia, we don't really think about the Thanksgiving holiday. That's not really part of our history. But the sales are part of our history because for the last 10 years, everybody kind of stops because they're, what am I going to get? What am I going to get on sale? Like, the amount of business being done goes up every year in Australia at this time. And I mean, for Christmas presents, you've got to buy them now because otherwise the mail just gets so clogged up and they don't get to your house in time for Christmas if you're buying Christmas presents for people. So you really need to be on top of it. But yeah, I think ultimately I would gladly buy nothing ever on Black Friday and only buy things when I need them. Because sales still happen. If you need it that badly, you'll be willing to pay full price for it. So yeah, I think like don't stress too much. Maybe the thing you buy on Black Friday is something you would never have bought if it wasn't on special. I mean, I do this a lot of the time at the shops. I'll go to the shops and I'll only buy what's on sale. Like I came for, I don't know, barbecue crackers, let's say. I was going to say barbecue shapes, but that's an Australian thing. So, you know, crackers. But then crackers aren't on sale and chips are, which, what do you call chips? Crisps in England? What do Americans call chips? Potato chips? Anyway, whatever, chips. And so I'll buy chips, but I didn't want chips, I wanted crackers, but the chips were $2 down from $5 and the crackers are $5, I buy the $2 chips. So, you know, sales do influence what I buy a lot of the time. And you do save a lot of money. Yeah, every grocery bill will tell you how much you saved, you know, by buying things on special. But I think sometimes it's like, if you want biscuits, just buy the biscuits. And like, I think Stu got it right. Like, just buy what you need when you need it. And if a sale comes up, great, bonus, the universe helped you out. But don't live for those sales and don't buy things just because they're on sale, because you're going to end up spending more money on things you don't need than just buying what you really know you need and want, you know. Anyway, I'm talking to myself here, obviously. I've spent 2 days sweating about all this stuff I need to buy just because it's on sale. But it's stuff I've needed for a long time. So, you know, I think making this video has actually kind of calmed me down a bit, give me a bit of validation, because it's like, yeah, I'm not just buying something because I saw it on special. Like, I'm actually, everything I've purchased has been something that, you know, was already on a list of things for me to get. So, but yeah, anyway, that's all I need to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear in the comments from you, what is your experiences with Black Friday? Do you buy a lot of stuff? Do you buy nothing? Do you avoid the sales? Do you live for the sale? Do you wait all year for the sale? Because definitely with Moho, like, that's something I've thought about getting for quite a while. And they did have humble bundles where you get like an older version for really cheap. I think I got it for like 20 or 30 bucks. Never installed it. But I said to Lucy, like, I'll wait till Black Friday if because the new version has Vitruvian bones. I think that came with version 13. And so I was like, if it gets Vitruvian bones, because a lot of the Storytime animators she watches use Moho. And so I said, well, look, if you want to use bones, like if you don't want to learn Blender, and for character animation, it's probably more sophisticated than Blender for grease pencils. So I was like, we'll get Moho when it comes on special. So I was waiting all year for that. But everything else I wasn't waiting. I just had things on my list that I hadn't bought. And then I was incentivized when I saw good sales. So can't wait to hear from you in the comments. If you haven't already watched my videos, this is kind of nothing to do with any of my other videos, except I talked about Stu Maswich, who is a visual effects supervisor, and I've talked about him a lot, wrote a great book. So his idea about Black Friday, I talked about that. Yeah, otherwise it's not really relevant to me sharing, though I've talked about camera equipment, I guess. Okay, thanks everyone. I'd love it if you subscribe if you haven't already, like the video if you haven't already. I really want to hear your comments today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.